It's the 1970s, and inflation is soaring. Groceries are more expensive, gas prices are climbing, and everyone is looking for ways to stretch a dollar. But instead of going hungry, families across America got creative, whipping up meals that were filling, flavorful, and, most importantly, budget-friendly. What if I told you that some of these classic 1970s dishes can still be made today for under $5 per serving? That's right. Let's dive into 25 budget meals from the 1970s that you can cook today to keep your wallet and stomach full. 1. Cheese ball. Let's start with something everyone remembers from the 70s. Cheese ball. This was the snack at every party and gathering, from backyard BBQs to cozy Sunday potlucks. It's simple, just cream cheese, sharp cheddar, and a few seasonings like garlic, green onions, and Worcestershire sauce. And if you want that extra crunch, you can roll it in crushed nuts. You can grab cream cheese for about $2.18 at Walmart. The sharp cheddar cheese will run you about $3.48 at Walmart as well. For Worcestershire sauce, it's around $1.88 at Target. If you want to roll your cheese ball in crushed pecans, you can grab them for $3.98 at Trader Joe's. Back in the 70s, this was the kind of dish you could throw together in minutes and still impress your guests. It wasn't about fancy ingredients or complicated recipes. It was all about flavor and making do with what you had. You'd set that cheese ball in the center of the table, surrounded by crackers or fresh veggies, and suddenly everyone was gathered around, talking, laughing, and sharing stories. That's what these simple meals did. They brought people together in a way that was more about the moment than the food itself. Best part? You can still make this classic today for under $5. It's a reminder that even when prices are high, sometimes the simplest meals are the ones that bring the most joy and nostalgia. 2. Stuffed artichoke hearts. Next up, we've got stuffed artichoke hearts, a dish that screams retro dinner party vibes. Artichokes were a fancy ingredient back in the day, and stuffing them with breadcrumbs, garlic, and herbs was a sure way to impress your guests without spending a fortune. It was a way to bring a touch of class to any meal while still keeping it simple and affordable. You can grab canned artichoke hearts for around $2.48 at Walmart. For the breadcrumbs, a box will cost you about $1.88 at Target. Garlic will run you about 50 cents for a bulb at Walmart, and Parmesan cheese can be found for $3.98 at Amazon. Combine all these ingredients, and you've got a dish that feels fancy but is surprisingly easy to make. Back in the 70s, these stuffed artichokes were a hit at dinner parties, offering a touch of elegance without breaking the bank. People would take one bite and say, "Wow, this is restaurant quality." But the beauty of it was that anyone could make them at home. It wasn't about being an expert chef. It was about putting a little creativity into everyday ingredients. These little artichoke hearts would sit proudly on the table, filled with a buttery breadcrumb mixture, looking like something from a gourmet menu. Even today, when you serve these, they'll still make your guests feel like they're dining in style, without the price tag. 3. Green Goddess Dip. Let's talk about a true classic, Green Goddess Dip. This creamy, tangy dip was all the rage in the 1970s and found its way into many a living room, serving as the perfect appetizer at dinner parties or family gatherings. Made with mayonnaise, sour cream, and fresh herbs like parsley and tarragon, this dip was a crowd pleaser, cool, fresh, and a little indulgent. You can grab mayonnaise for about $2.98 at Walmart. Sour cream will set you back around $1.68 at Target, while fresh parsley can be picked up for around $1.49 at Walmart. Tarragon might be a bit more niche, but you can find it for $3.49 at Amazon. Once you have these simple ingredients, you've got a dip that everyone will be digging into in no time. Back in the day, Green Goddess Dip wasn't just about the taste. It was about feeling fancy. It was one of those dishes that made you feel like you were hosting a Hollywood party, even if you were just serving snacks on a Friday night. People would scoop it onto crackers, chips, or veggies, and everyone would dive in with a smile. And guess what? This dip is still a perfect choice for today's gatherings. Simple to make, budget-friendly, and guaranteed to get the crowd talking. 4. Slow cooker 5-mushroom barley soup. Now, let's warm things up with some comfort food. Slow cooker 5-mushroom barley soup. This hearty soup was a hit in the 70s, offering a perfect combination of earthy mushrooms, chewy barley, and savory broth, all cooked slowly to bring out rich flavors. It was a satisfying, filling dish that didn't cost a lot, especially when you were dealing with inflation and tight budgets. You can grab mushrooms for around $2.50 for a pack at Walmart. Barley is about $1.29 for a bag at Target, and vegetable broth will run you about $1.99 at Walmart. The beauty of this soup back in the 70s was that it didn't require expensive cuts of meat or rare ingredients. It was made with basic, everyday items you could find at your local store. You'd throw everything into the slow cooker, let it simmer, and hours later you'd have a bowl of warm, comforting goodness. It became a staple for busy families who wanted something filling, nutritious, and easy to prepare. Even today, with everything going on in the world, this soup is a reminder of how the simplest meals can be the most satisfying. Plus, with the slow cooker doing all the work, you've got more time to relax and enjoy the meal, just like they did back in the 70s. 5. Pineapple chicken. Next up, we've got pineapple chicken, a dish that combines sweet and savory in the best way possible. This was a trendy dish in the 70s, as families were starting to experiment with fruit in their savory meals. The combination of tender chicken with the tangy sweetness of pineapple created a flavor explosion that was both refreshing and comforting. You can grab chicken breasts for about $4.98 per pack at Walmart and canned pineapple for $1.48 at Target. A bottle of soy sauce will cost you around $1.97 at Walmart. What made pineapple chicken so special back in the day was its versatility. It was simple to make and didn't require a lot of ingredients, yet it tasted like a dish you'd order at a fancy restaurant. You could serve it over rice, and it would become a complete meal. Families would make it for weeknight dinners or special occasions, always adding a little something extra to elevate the everyday routine. And even now, this dish still has the magic to bring a little tropical flair to your dinner table without the hefty price tag. Back then, pineapple was considered an exotic ingredient, so it felt like a treat every time it was served. Today, it's a nostalgic reminder of the creative ways people made the most out of what they had, and it's still a crowd pleaser that never goes out of style. 6. Pasta Primavera. Next on the list is pasta Primavera, a dish that's as vibrant as it is delicious. This dish became popular in the 70s when fresh, colorful vegetables were starting to become a bigger part of the American diet. With a light, buttery sauce and plenty of fresh veggies like bell peppers, tomatoes, and zucchini, pasta Primavera was the perfect way to celebrate the season's best produce. You can grab pasta for around $1 for a box at Walmart, zucchini for $1.68 per pound at Target, and bell peppers for $1.25 each at Walmart. You'll also need some Parmesan cheese, which you can find for $3.98 at Amazon. In the 70s, this was considered an elegant dish, something you'd whip up for a special dinner or serve to guests at a party. It was a dish that highlighted the freshness of the vegetables, making it feel light and healthy, yet still satisfying. Even today, pasta Primavera has a timeless appeal. It's a perfect go-to for a quick, flavorful meal that feels special without costing a lot. Plus, it's endlessly customizable. Add more veggies, throw in some grilled chicken or shrimp, and you've got a meal that works for any occasion. It was a dish that not only reflected the growing interest in fresh, healthy eating at the time, but also captured the spirit of a decade that was all about trying new things and embracing change in the kitchen. 7. Carrot cake. Next up, we've got carrot cake, a dessert that was a must-have at every 70s gathering. This wasn't just any cake. It was the one everyone raved about, made with grated carrots, walnuts, and a rich cream cheese frosting. It became a party favorite, always showing up at birthdays, holidays, or potlucks, and you could count on Grandma or Aunt Joan to bring it. After all, it was the healthy dessert, thanks to the carrots, of course. You can grab carrots for about $1.47 per pound at Walmart, all-purpose flour for $1.98 at Target, and cream cheese for $2.18 at Walmart. Walnuts will cost you around $3.99 at Trader Joe's. In the 70s, carrot cake was seen as an elegant dessert with a perfect balance of sweetness and spice. People loved it because it wasn't just about the flavor. It was the surprise factor that came with seeing a cake that felt fancy but was actually simple to make. Even today, it's a nostalgic treat that never goes out of style, perfect for any occasion, big or small. It's one of those timeless recipes that has been passed down through generations, keeping the spirit of those simpler times alive with every slice. And every bite reminds us of those special moments where food wasn't just about eating, it was about creating memories. 8. Crazy cake. Now let's talk about a cake that has a story to tell. Crazy cake, also known as wacky cake or depression cake. This cake was born during the Great Depression when ingredients like eggs, milk, and butter were hard to come by, but people still wanted to enjoy a sweet treat, so they got creative. This cake doesn't require any eggs or dairy, just flour, sugar, vinegar, and cocoa powder, and it's surprisingly delicious for something so simple. You can grab all-purpose flour for $1.98 at Target, cocoa powder for $2.94 at Walmart, and vinegar for $1.38 at Walmart. Back in the day, Crazy Cake became a lifesaver during tough times. It was cheap, easy to make, and still felt like a real dessert, even if it wasn't fancy. People would bake it in a pinch when they had nothing else, but it always delivered on taste. Even today, it's a great recipe to fall back on when you're craving something sweet, but don't want to break the bank. It's one of those desserts that proves you don't need a lot of fancy ingredients to make something delicious. It's the simple recipes that often taste the best. In a way, this cake became a symbol of resilience, proof that even in the toughest times, a little creativity in the kitchen could bring some joy, no matter how few ingredients you had on hand. 9. Hard Times Creamed Tuna. Next up, we've got Hard Times Creamed Tuna, a dish that became a staple when money was tight and you had to make every penny count. This humble meal is exactly what it sounds like: canned tuna, cooked with a creamy sauce and served on top of buttered toast. It might sound simple, but in the 70s, this dish was a lifesaver for families trying to stretch their food budget. You can grab canned tuna for about $1 per can at Walmart, butter for $2.48 at Target, and bread for $1.47 at Walmart. During tough times, people didn't have the luxury of extravagant meals or expensive cuts of meat. They had to get creative with what they had, and that's exactly what made creamed tuna on toast so popular. It was cheap, filling, and could be whipped up in no time. Perfect for a quick lunch or dinner when you were short on both time and money. And even today, it's still a dish that feels comforting, especially when you're looking for something quick and easy to prepare. Sometimes, the most memorable meals are the ones that are born out of necessity, yet still manage to taste delicious. It's a reminder that with a little creativity, you can make something great out of the simplest ingredients. 10. Sloppy Joe Casserole. Next, we've got Sloppy Joe Casserole, a twist on the classic Sloppy Joe that turned a simple sandwich into a hearty, comforting casserole. This dish took the rich, savory ground beef, tomato sauce, and seasonings of a Sloppy Joe and baked it into a filling casserole with layers of cheese and sometimes even potatoes or pasta. It was the perfect way to feed a hungry family without breaking the bank. You can grab ground beef for around $4.38 per pound at Walmart, cheddar cheese for $3.48 at Walmart, and tomato sauce for 72 cents at Target. Back in the 70s, this casserole became a crowd favorite. It was a quick way to use what you already had in the kitchen and turn it into something special. You could throw it together with ingredients you probably already had on hand and have a hot, filling meal ready in no time. And even today, it's still a great dish to make when you need something easy, delicious, and satisfying. It's one of those meals that always brings a sense of nostalgia and comfort, reminding us that sometimes the best dishes are the ones that come together effortlessly. It's also a dish that proves you don't need a lot of time or money to make a meal that feels like a treat. 11th, bread and butter pickles. Next up, we've got bread and butter pickles, a tangy, sweet, and savory side dish that was a favorite in the 70s. These pickles were the perfect balance of sugar, vinegar, and spices, with a crunch that made them irresistible. You could serve them alongside sandwiches, burgers, or just snack on them straight from the jar. They were a great way to preserve cucumbers when they were in season, and making them was an affordable way to enjoy homemade pickles. You can grab cucumbers for about $1.28 per pound at Walmart, white vinegar for $1.38 at Target, and sugar for $2.14 at Walmart. In the 70s, making pickles at home became a popular way to keep fresh flavors available throughout the year. Bread and butter pickles were easy to make in big batches and stored well, so they were perfect for large families. Today, these pickles still bring that same sweet, tangy crunch to your meals, and they're a fun way to make something homemade without spending a lot. Whether you're serving them at a family BBQ or just as a snack, they're a classic that never goes out of style. Plus, the satisfaction of making something from scratch always makes it taste even better. 12. Tomato cakes. Next, we've got tomato cakes, a quirky, delicious dish that was a popular snack or side in the 70s. Imagine crispy crackers topped with a flavorful tomato mixture, then baked until golden and bubbly. The combination of crunchy crackers, savory tomato sauce, and melted cheese was simple, yet packed a punch of flavor. It wasn't fancy, but it was perfect for a quick bite, especially when you needed something filling and affordable. You can grab crackers for about $1.28 at Walmart, tomato sauce for 72 cents at Target, and cheddar cheese for $3.48 at Walmart. Tomato cakes were a favorite because they were easy to make, required minimal ingredients, and could be whipped up quickly, whether you were looking for a snack or a side dish. Back in the 70s, this was the kind of dish you could throw together without much thought, but it always hit the spot. Even today, it's a perfect nostalgic treat, simple, hearty, and just the kind of comfort food you can throw together when you're short on time but still want something satisfying. What made tomato cakes so special in the 70s was their versatility. You could make them as a side to a weeknight dinner or serve them as a quick appetizer for guests. And with the ingredients being so affordable, they became a go-to during times when you needed to feed a family without spending too much. It was a dish that didn't need any frills, yet brought a satisfying, familiar warmth to the table every time. 13. Penny with peas and bacon. Next up, we've got penny with peas and bacon, a simple yet flavorful dish that was a hit in the 70s. This meal was all about using what was available to create something satisfying without overcomplicating things. The creamy sauce, the salty bacon, and the pop of sweet peas combined beautifully with al dente penne pasta. It was the kind of dish that felt a little fancy, but was still easy enough to whip up during a busy weeknight. You can grab penny pasta for about $1 for a box at Walmart, peas for $1 at Target, and bacon for $3.48 at Walmart. For the creamy sauce, you'll need heavy cream, around $2.68 for a pint at Target, and Parmesan cheese, about $3.98 at Amazon. In the 70s, this dish brought together the best of both worlds. It was comforting, yet had a touch of elegance with the bacon, which was a bit of a treat at the time. People would make it for casual dinners, but it was also special enough to serve at family gatherings or dinner parties. Today, penny with peas and bacon remains a timeless, easy-to-make pasta dish that packs a punch of flavor without a big price tag. It's a reminder that with just a few basic ingredients, you can make something simple that feels indulgent. 14. Chef John's stuffed peppers. Next up, we've got Chef John's stuffed peppers, a delicious, hearty dish that became a family favorite in the 70s. This classic comfort food takes bell peppers and fills them with a savory mixture of ground beef, rice, and tomatoes, then bakes them in the oven until they're tender and full of flavor. It was a great way to make a little go a long way, and it was a perfect filling meal for a family on a budget. You can grab bell peppers for about $1.25 each at Walmart, ground beef for $4.38 per pound at Walmart, and rice for $1.68 at Target. For the tomatoes, you can find canned diced tomatoes for 72 cents at Target. Back in the 70s, stuffed peppers were seen as an easy and affordable way to get a full, balanced meal on the table. It was a dish you could make in bulk, and the leftovers would be just as delicious the next day. Even today, Chef John's stuffed peppers are a comforting go-to meal, packed with flavor and perfect for meal prepping. It's the kind of dish that reminds us that with a little creativity, you can turn everyday ingredients into something special. 15. Lima bean soup with ham bone. Next, we've got lima bean soup with ham bone, a comforting, hearty dish that made the most out of humble ingredients. In the 70s, it was a great way to use up leftover ham and turn it into something warm and filling. With tender lima beans, smoky ham, and a savory broth, this soup became a go-to for families looking for a budget-friendly meal that would last. You can grab lima beans for around $1.28 for a bag at Walmart, and ham hocks, or ham bone, for about $2.50 per pound at Target. You'll also need some vegetable broth, which is about $1.99 at Walmart. In the 70s, lima bean soup with ham bone was a perfect way to stretch meals throughout the week. It was inexpensive, filling, and packed with flavor. People loved it because it made great leftovers, and it was a hearty dish that everyone could enjoy, even if times were tough. Today, it still holds a place in many homes, bringing a sense of nostalgia and comfort with every spoonful. It's a dish that shows how resourceful families were, able to transform simple, often overlooked ingredients into a meal that was not only filling, but also full of heart and flavor. 16. Potato and leek soup. Next up, we've got potato and leek soup, a warm, creamy, and filling dish that became a comfort food favorite in the 70s. This simple soup, made with potatoes, leeks, and a few basic ingredients, was perfect for chilly evenings when you needed something hearty yet affordable. The creamy texture of the potatoes, combined with the mild, onion-like flavor of the leeks, made it a soothing and satisfying meal. You can grab potatoes for about $2.88 per 5-pound bag at Walmart, leeks for $1.48 each at Target, and vegetable broth for $1.99 at Walmart. In the 70s, potato and leek soup was a dish that you could make with whatever you had on hand, perfect for using up pantry staples. It was a go-to for families who wanted a warm meal that would stretch for a few days, and even today, it remains a beloved classic. This soup is the perfect example of how you don't need to have a lot of ingredients to make something delicious. Just a few simple items can create a dish that feels both comforting and luxurious. Whether served with a slice of homemade bread or enjoyed on its own, this soup brings a sense of warmth and nostalgia with every spoonful. 17. Spaghetti sauce with cauliflower. Next up, we've got spaghetti sauce with cauliflower, a creative twist on traditional spaghetti sauce that was a hit in the 70s. This dish combined the rich, tangy flavors of spaghetti sauce with the earthy, slightly nutty taste of cauliflower, creating a hearty, vegetable-packed alternative to meat-based sauces. It was an affordable way to add some extra nutrition to your pasta without breaking the bank. You can grab spaghetti sauce for about $1.98 at Target and cauliflower for $2.88 each at Walmart. Back in the 70s, many families were looking for ways to eat more vegetables, and spaghetti sauce with cauliflower became a clever way to do just that. The cauliflower would soak up all the delicious sauce, becoming tender and full of flavor, while still maintaining that satisfying bite. Even today, this dish is a great way to sneak some extra veggies into your meals, and it's still as comforting and satisfying as it was back then. Plus, it's an affordable way to enjoy a classic pasta dish without all the extra calories or cost. It's a perfect example of how a little creativity can turn simple ingredients into something that feels special and flavorful. 18. Tuna Noodle Casserole. Next up, we've got tuna noodle casserole, a classic comfort food that became a staple in the 70s. This dish was all about pantry staples: canned tuna, pasta, cream of mushroom soup, and some cheese, baked together into a hot, cheesy casserole. It was the kind of meal that could feed a family without costing much, and it's still just as comforting today as it was back then. You can grab canned tuna for about $1 per can at Walmart, egg noodles for $1.28 at Target, and cream of mushroom soup for 72 cents at Walmart. Shredded cheese will cost you about $3.48 at Walmart. In the 70s, tuna noodle casserole was the go-to meal for busy families. It was inexpensive, easy to prepare, and could be made in one dish, making cleanup a breeze. Plus, it was a great way to use up pantry staples without feeling like you were sacrificing flavor. Even today, this casserole is a nostalgic reminder of how simple ingredients can come together to create something hearty, satisfying, and full of warmth. It's one of those timeless meals that never feels old, proving that sometimes the best dishes are the ones that stand the test of time. 19. Pineapple Upside-Down Cake. Next up, we've got pineapple upside-down cake, a dessert that became an iconic favorite in the 70s. This cake was both beautiful and delicious, with its golden, caramelized pineapple topping and soft, buttery cake base. It was a perfect dessert to impress guests without spending a lot, and it quickly became a staple at family gatherings, holidays, and special occasions. You can grab canned pineapple for about $1.48 at Target, yellow cake mix for $1.28 at Walmart, and butter for $2.48 at Target. In the 70s, pineapple upside-down cake was a showstopper. The simple act of flipping the cake upside down revealed that beautiful layer of caramelized pineapple, making it feel like you had just created something extravagant. Even today, this cake still brings back that sense of nostalgia with its sweet, fruity topping and moist cake that everyone loves. It's a dessert that proves you don't need complicated ingredients or fancy techniques to create something truly memorable. And when you serve it, the satisfaction of watching everyone enjoy the sweet, caramelized pineapple never gets old. There's something about this cake that makes it feel timeless, like it's meant to be shared, passed down, and enjoyed for generations to come. 20. Salmon Croettes. Next, we've got salmon croquettes, a dish that was a perfect way to turn canned salmon into something delicious in the 70s. These crispy, golden fritters were made by mixing flaked salmon with breadcrumbs, onions, and seasonings, then frying them until they were perfectly crunchy on the outside and tender on the inside. It was a great budget-friendly dish that didn't skimp on flavor. You can grab canned salmon for about $2.50 per can at Walmart, breadcrumbs for $1.88 at Target, and eggs for $1.98 per dozen at Walmart. In the 70s, salmon croquettes were a staple in many households. They were an easy way to make a hearty meal with simple ingredients, and they could be served as a main course or a side. Even today, they're a nostalgic reminder of how creativity in the kitchen can transform basic pantry items into something special. Whether served with a side of vegetables, mashed potatoes, or just on their own, these croquettes are a satisfying dish that holds up year after year. The beauty of this dish is that it's both affordable and versatile, something that can be made to suit any occasion, from a quick weeknight meal to a family gathering. 21. Retro Jello Salad. Next up, we've got Retro Jello Salad, a colorful gelatin-based dish that became a signature side at family gatherings, barbecues, and holidays in the 70s. This dessert was more than just a sweet treat. It was a fun and vibrant addition to any spread, often layered with fruits, nuts, or even vegetables. The combination of sweet, tart, and crunchy textures made it both a conversation starter and a crowd favorite. You can grab Jello for about 88 cents per box at Walmart, canned fruit for $1.48 at Target, and whipped cream for $1.98 at Walmart. In the 70s, Jello salads were all the rage, and they came in a variety of colorful combinations, red with strawberries, green with lime, and sometimes even mixed with marshmallows. This dish was a fun way to dress up a simple dessert, and it often became a nostalgic symbol of family get-togethers. Even today, retro Jello salad brings a playful, nostalgic touch to meals, reminding us of a time when food was about both flavor and fun. It's also a reminder of how food can bring people together, whether it's through a shared laugh over an unexpected combination or the joy of seeing that bright, wobbly mold come to life on the table. 22. Frozen Vegetable Stir-Fry. Next, we've got frozen vegetable stir-fry, a simple yet satisfying dish that became a go-to for busy families in the 70s. As the convenience of frozen vegetables took off, this dish made it easy to whip up a quick, nutritious meal in no time. You could throw together a mix of frozen veggies with a bit of soy sauce, garlic, and a touch of oil, and you'd have a delicious stir-fry that was ready in minutes. You can grab frozen mixed vegetables for about $1.48 at Walmart, soy sauce for $1.97 at Target, and garlic for 50 cents at Walmart. In the 70s, frozen vegetables became a game-changer for busy cooks. They were inexpensive, easy to store, and could be used in a variety of dishes like stir-fries, soups, or casseroles. Even today, frozen vegetable stir-fry is a great way to make a quick, healthy meal without much effort. It's proof that you don't always need fresh ingredients to make a meal that's packed with flavor and good for you. And the best part? With frozen veggies, you can experiment with different combinations of flavors and textures, making it a versatile dish that fits into any weeknight dinner rotation or serves as a quick, last-minute side. 23. 7-layer salad. Next up, we've got 7-layer salad, a dish that was a party favorite in the 70s and still holds its place as a classic. This layered salad is a colorful combination of ingredients like lettuce, peas, bacon, eggs, and cheese, all topped off with a creamy dressing. The beauty of this salad was in the presentation. The layers were not only beautiful, but also created a variety of textures and flavors in every bite. You can grab lettuce for about $1.48 at Walmart, peas for $1 at Target, and bacon for $3.48 at Walmart. Mayonnaise for the dressing will run you about $2.98 at Target. In the 70s, 7-layer salad was often served at potlucks, BBQs, or holiday gatherings. It was a dish that looked impressive, but was surprisingly easy to make. The layers of flavors, from the crisp lettuce to the salty bacon, made it a crowd pleaser every time. Even today, this salad remains a hit for gatherings, offering a fun way to enjoy fresh ingredients while still getting the richness of bacon and dressing. It's the perfect example of how a little creativity can turn a simple salad into something truly special. And with its colorful layers, it's a dish that's just as fun to make as it is to eat. 24. Nut roast. Next up, we've got nut roast, a budget-friendly vegetarian dish that was a hit in the 70s. Made with a variety of nuts, breadcrumbs, and vegetables, this roast was a great alternative for vegetarians or anyone looking to cut back on meat without sacrificing flavor. The combination of crunchy nuts, savory seasonings, and a rich texture made it a hearty, satisfying dish that could easily serve a crowd. You can grab mixed nuts for about $3.98 at Walmart, breadcrumbs for $1.88 at Target, and vegetable broth for $1.99 at Walmart. In the 70s, the nut roast was seen as a clever and affordable way to create a filling main dish without relying on meat. It was a great option for family dinners or holiday feasts, offering a hearty, satisfying alternative to traditional roasts. Even today, this dish continues to be a go-to for those looking for a comforting, plant-based meal. It's proof that you don't need meat to create a meal that feels indulgent and full of flavor. And with its savory, nutty goodness, it's the kind of dish that brings people together, offering a taste of comfort that's both filling and wholesome. It's one of those dishes that reminds us how satisfying simplicity can be. 25. Idaho Covered Dish Casserole. Last, but definitely not least, we've got Idaho Covered Dish Casserole, also known as the Budget Stretch Casserole, a classic 70s dish that made the most of potatoes, cheese, and whatever else was lying around the pantry. This hearty casserole was the perfect meal for feeding a crowd on a budget. It was a simple combination of sliced potatoes, onions, cheese, and sometimes ground beef, all baked together in a savory, creamy sauce. It's the kind of meal that fills you up and warms you from the inside out. You can grab potatoes for about $2.88 per 5-pound bag at Walmart, cheddar cheese for $3.48 at Walmart, and ground beef for about $4.38 per pound at Walmart. In the 70s, casseroles like this were a lifesaver. They could feed a family of 4 or more for just a few dollars, and leftovers often stretched for another meal. The Idaho Covered Dish Casserole was a hit because it could be made with whatever ingredients you had on hand, making it a versatile and affordable go-to. Even today, this casserole remains a beloved dish for its simplicity, its ability to feed a crowd, and its delicious, comforting taste. It's one of those timeless recipes that proves you don't need fancy ingredients to create a meal that brings everyone to the table. These 25 budget meals from the 1970s aren't just a trip down memory lane, they're powerful reminders that you don't have to spend a fortune to eat well. By revisiting these classic, affordable recipes, you can save money today while enjoying the same hearty, delicious meals that kept families fed through tough times. If you're ready to make meals that stretch your budget without sacrificing flavor, like and share this video, subscribe for more money-saving tips, and share your favorite dish or memory in the comments. And don't forget to hit the bell so you can keep learning how to eat well for less.